Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing another interview. My guest today has appeared on my YouTube channel before. They took part in Who Said It, but today they're going to come on and tell us more about themselves and their career. Today MILAINA Chanel will be joining me, who played Zara on The Next Step.
Hi, my name is MILAINA Chanel. I'm a dancer, actress from Vancouver, British Columbia, and the few things I've been in are Descendants 3, Riverdale, and The Next Step is probably where you'll know me best from.
Thank you so much for coming, MILAINA. So today I've got 10 questions based on your acting and dancing career. And my first question for you is, when did you first get into dancing and acting?
I first got into dancing and acting, so they were not at the same time. Dancing, I would say, well, I got into it when I was 1.5. My mom put me into dance class. All of my family are figure skaters, and I can't even skate, so I don't know how that happened and where this decided to go from, but my mom put me in dance because she wanted to start working on my balance and my coordination so that she could put me into ice skating. And then we never made it to the ice ever. She said she saw my smile and that she couldn't take me out of dance. I would say when I was 4 is when I really started getting into it, and I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna be a dancer. I can't believe I said that at 4, but I did, and I meant it, and I've kept it up. So I'm really happy for that. Acting actually I didn't really get into that till I was 16 when I actually got hired on The Next Step. I didn't even know I wanted to be an actor. I loved movies and I loved seeing all the emotion and things like that, and I always wanted to make people feel that way, but I didn't think acting would be the way that I would do it. So yeah, The Next Step kind of opened my eyes to that. I'm like, oh my God, I can dance and act? Who would have thought? So that's kind of when I got into acting, and then when I moved out to Vancouver, I really started pursuing it.
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic journey so far. And my next question actually is about The Next Step, and what is the audition process like for The Next Step?
So everyone's audition process was a little different if you ask everyone. I think Dylan and I probably have the most similar story. So we were both, was originally from out here out west in BC, and I was in Calgary at the time because I was still in high school and all the things. And I was at a dance competition where Brie Wazelenko, who is Miss Kate, she was adjudicating me, but I've known her for years. She's also from a small town outside of Calgary. She taught me growing up, so I've known her forever. And when we were at that competition, she asked my mom for my information, my contact information. We had no idea what it was for. We had no idea why she asked. We just gave it to her, and in hindsight, we probably should have asked, but we didn't. And then a few days later, I get an email from the casting director, Amy Wright, and she's asking for a self-tape from me, which I had never done before, so I also had to figure that out. And so she asked me a few questions that I had to answer. Then I had to do a clip or some dancing to one of the TNS songs. And from there, I sent that out back to her, and then within a couple of hours, she said she wanted to see me in Toronto for one of the callbacks. I think it was supposed to be the last callback. It didn't end up being the last callback, but one of the callbacks. So we figured it out. I flew myself out to Toronto. I did the callback. Also, I had no idea what I was going for. I didn't know it was for Zara. I didn't know it was for a series regular. I literally just went out and I was like, oh my God, The Next Step, my favorite show right now. Of course I have to go audition. So I went and auditioned. I met a lot of the cast that we did season 5 with there. And then I came back home. I hadn't gone to school that week yet either because it was in the middle of the week. And then I was on my way to school one day and my mom gives me a call. I'm on the bus. I'm not even at school yet. And she's like, MILAINA, you might have to come home at lunch because you might have to be on a plane today at 4 o'clock to go back to Toronto to do another callback. And I'm like, okay. And lo and behold, I did. At lunchtime, I had to leave and go home, and we had left for less than 24 hours, I want to say. And we went to Toronto. I did another callback. That one I met Dylan at because that's the one she came to. That was our last callback for everyone, I believe. And then I came back home, and then within I want to say it was a week or so, I was told I got the role of Zara. But again, I had no idea what I was auditioning for. I thought maybe a dancer, one of the ones without lines, not a series regular. So yeah, it was kind of a whirlwind, but it was great.
Yeah, it definitely does sound like a whirlwind, and it just sounds so exciting, being able to go to Toronto, kind of at last notice, just sounds so exciting really, and it sounds like an incredible journey.
Yeah, it definitely was incredible.
100%. Have you always wanted to be a dancer?
Yes, I have always wanted to be a dancer. I've definitely thought about like having backup like careers, I guess, in case it never worked out, but I didn't really like having that. I've been a firm believer that having a plan B just gives an excuse to not go for plan A. But like, yeah, when I was growing up, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be a baker, I'm gonna be a lawyer, or CSI, or things like that. But dancer was always the number one.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think it's always great if you kind of, obviously it's great to do other things, but if you always wanted to do something, then it kind of motivates you to keep going and to finally get that end goal of getting into something that you always want to do. Obviously you appeared on Riverdale as a dancer. What was that experience like?
It was so fun. The cast is so fun. I got to work with Vanessa Morgan and Madeline Petch. That was like the scene that kind of we were in. It was so much fun. It was also like Riverdale was kind of like not new. I think I was in season 3, I believe. So it wasn't new, but it was still like kind of a new show. It was like the hot commodity of Vancouver to be on that show. So it was really exciting to be on that show. Loved the dancers I got to work with. A lot of them are my friends. So it was just really nice. And honestly, anytime I get to be on set is a good time.
Yeah, it does sound like a really good time. What dance were you in on Riverdale? Just like to let everyone know.
It's in the musical episode in season 3. I believe they're doing Heathers the musical, and it's like the very first song they do within that episode, I believe, and it's with Cheryl, Betty, Veronica, and Tony, who are all in that. What did we sing? I can't even remember, to be honest, but it's within the first 15 minutes of the episode.
Oh, fantastic. I remember that episode very well. So my next question is, do you have any advice to people who want to get into dancing or acting?
Yes. 1, it is never too late. 2, the sooner you start, the better. And also, if you love it and you want to do it, just do it. There is no right or wrong way to get into it. There's no secret potion or formula. Honestly, as long as you put your full heart and passion into it, I truly believe that you can do whatever you want to. I would say be as versatile as possible, because then you can fit as many job descriptions as possible. It's one of the things that I think has helped me through my career is that I do so many different styles in dance. Therefore, I can fit into different scenes and I can do different choreography, and I'm not limited to one thing or another. Acting wise, again, train with not just the same coach all the time. You can definitely keep that coach around and they can be your main person, but I think the more you learn from different people, the more they have to offer, and you can never learn too much. That you can never stop learning as an artist. So
yeah, 100%. That is some fantastic advice, and thank you so much for sharing it. I think people can definitely take something from that, and I definitely agree with what you said. Last Christmas, you appeared as a dancer in Christmas Chronicles 2. What was that like?
it was so fun, especially because like that was the last time before the world exploded that we like were all close and like we weren't wearing masks on set or anything like that. That was the last job I had done before the fate of the world. So it was so much fun. It was so much fun to be with like so many dancers that I know and like love in the community, and it was just a big thing. And I've always loved Christmas movies, always. So it's always been a dream of mine to be in them. So now I can kind of check that off my checklist. And also to work with the choreographer, Christopher Scott, was just amazing. I've watched his work forever, loved him on So You Think You Can Dance. So it's just like a dream to work with him. Yeah, it was just a fun time. And we did that for the month, like whole month of January, from rehearsals to the actual scene. And yeah, also my dad was kind of fangirling when I told him that I was working with Kurt Russell. He was like, "You're working with Kurt Russell?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I love him." He might kill me for saying that, but I love you.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I've seen obviously Christmas Chronicles too. It's just such a magical movie, and it's so cool you got to be part of that, because it's definitely in my top 5 Christmas movies, so it's very good. What has been the best moment in your career so far?
That is a difficult question. I don't know. Because each thing I don't know, that's really, Charlie. I don't know, because each moment in my career is special and unique in its own way, and each experience is different. Obviously, the next step was a huge moment in my career. It started my career pretty much. It was my first real job on set. It was one of the biggest jobs I've done. Yeah, so like, no, I don't know. I don't think I have one. I think each one after that has been a whole other experience and something different from it was better than the last one, or not even better, but just like more exciting. I don't know. I'm not answering this question. I don't have one.
Yeah, well, if I was asked that, I'd be the same. Like, it's really difficult to just choose one, and like you were saying, every experience you do is like another thing to kind of write down, and it's another thing that you've experienced. So I definitely agree. It's very hard to pick one. Also in 2020, you appeared as a dancer in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. What was that like?
I love working on that set. It is so much fun. I got to be on 2 episodes in season 1. The whole team is just so kind, so nice, so awesome to work with. And the fact that it's like a whole musical series is like, you see that, but not in the way that they do it. And it's just, it was a dream. And Mandy Moore as the choreographer, that was so exciting. And I felt a little nervous being in her presence. I'm like, I don't know if I'm worthy of this, but she's such a sweetheart. She's so amazing to work with, so funny. Yeah, absolutely loved my time on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. 100%. Anytime they want me back, I would go back.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like another really fun thing to do, especially like with all the singing and the dancing. It sounds like a really bubbly kind of set to be on. Did anyone inspire you to get into dancing?
Like, my mom obviously put me into dance, so like that obviously inspired it, but like it's not like I chose to go into dance, but I chose to stay in dance, if that makes sense. So like definitely there's dancers in my life who I've aspired to be or like looked up to. Brie Wazelenko is definitely one of those people. I've like loved her and like looked up to her for as long as I can remember. My studio director, Erica Serbiu, is someone that I cherish very deeply. She was like a second mom to me. She helped me with everything, and she always believed in me and allowed for me to do anything I wanted to. She was just, she never said, no, you can't do that. And I think that's so important, especially at a young age, to have not just your parents, but other people supporting you and you knowing that like your dream is actually possible. But yeah, I don't know. There's lots of people that have inspired me to stay in dance, but I've always loved dance and I've never wanted to quit. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really great, and it's amazing that you've obviously continued on and you're at the point you are now. I was just wondering, does anybody inspire you now? Like, does anybody inspire you right now in this moment?
I think just like the people around me inspire me every day. Like, I'll talk to Alex or Dylan, and we always are talking because obviously it's a weird time. Even I haven't seen Alex in I think 2 years now, so we have to FaceTime and things like that, but we're always constantly inspiring each other, I think. And I wouldn't say that there's one person in particular that inspires me at the moment, like creatively. I think just seeing how the dance community and the acting community and the singing community, just like the arts, how strong they've been throughout this whole year and how they're making art through a time where we're all like, what do we do with our lives? Are we going to be able to continue this? Are we gonna, like, just so many unanswered questions. I think that's what inspires me, is that we're all keeping such light in this world even when things seem a little dark. So I think that's what's inspiring me. I don't think just one person does. I think there's multiple people that inspire me every day.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's always important, well, not important, but it's always nice to know people who inspire you, because I feel like when you watch them dance, you're like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I know that person. And I think it's always lovely to know someone who you look up to. I have one more question for you, and this is always a fun question to wrap up the interview. And it is, do you have any behind the scenes stories from the next step?
Oh, I'm sure I have lots, but will my brain work is the question. What's something I could say? I think like a behind the scenes moment though would be like, there was one day where as a cast we were in the green room and we had all the lights off and we were watching like a scary movie. I don't like scary movies, by the way, so I was not happy that we were doing this, but I was like, well, we're doing this as a cast, so I'll like suck it up. But we were all like huddled on the couch and like watching this movie on someone's laptop, and like some of the girls were like hiding. I think even some of the boys were not into it either, but It was just like a really cute moment and something that we got to experience together, and it was, I think, towards the end of filming, so it was kind of when we were all family. What's another behind the scenes moment? Oh, I don't know if it's really like that exciting, but just like a little tidbit is that there's one scene when we did stand up, like when we all came together, and they needed the reactions from Miss Kate, Riley, and James. I believe that's, yeah, from those three. No, sorry, I lied. If Miss Kate, Emily, and Michelle. Yes, you're right. When we did stand up, and they needed their reactions, but they didn't really need us. So, and I think a lot of people were getting wrapped because they like had pumpkined or ran out of time or whatever. They just needed to get home. And so they kept two of us to like just do things behind the camera so that they had something to react to. So actually me and Dawson were those people, and we're not like, we could do the dance or we can just like goof around. So we did a little bit of both. But yeah, so like all their reactions, maybe not all of them, but a lot of their reactions of them going like, oh yeah, is literally me being like this in the background, being like, oh yeah, I'm giving you the time of my life right now. So it's just funny that you're like, oh, they're actually reacting to the dance, and we're like, but what dance? So that's a little fun tidbit, I guess.
Yeah, those are some lovely stories, and yeah, that last one definitely made me laugh, so thank you for sharing them. So we have came to the end of the interview now, and it's been amazing finding out more about yourself, and thank you so much for coming on, MILAINA.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me, Charlie.
You're most welcome, and also thank you to everybody who watched this video. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and I'll see you next week for another one. Bye, guys!